Hey everybody, welcome to the final edition of No DQ&A video. For 2011, of course. I am the owner of No DQ and Rift. As a reminder, UFC 141 is this weekend, Friday night, December 30th, not New Year's Eve. Keep that in mind. UFC choosing not to go head-to-head on New Year's Eve, so it's Friday night. You can check out the coverage at NoDQ.com. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/NoDQ. DOTCOM. But right now, I got a ton of professional wrestling questions to answer, so let's get right down to it. Hey Aaron, with his history in place with them, do you think we will ever see a DVD documentary about Gorilla Monsoon? I myself think it would be a great move for them, especially as a way to reach out to the old school wrestling fans. The problem is, if they did a DVD specifically on Gorilla Monsoon, I don't think it would sell very well. I think the better option would be to put Gorilla Monsoon in a DVD as part of like a Legends DVD where you can market it with like Andre the Giant on the cover or even Hulk Hogan and dedicate a good hour or two to Gorilla Monsoon. Maybe do like a 4-disc set and maybe feature like 10 different superstars, one of them being Gorilla. Maybe add Jesse Ventura to it. I think that would be a great idea to do that. But yeah, I don't see them doing something specifically on Gorilla Monsoon. Hey Aaron, I know it might not be the next Raw, but do you see Dolph Ziggler WWE Champion by SummerSlam or in 2012 at all? Well, some of you may remember, or maybe nobody remembers, but Dolph Ziggler did win the world title very briefly in 2011 at the start of the year. So, I mean, Ziggler's at a higher level than he was a year ago, so I definitely see it as a possibility that he will finally reach the top in WWE, and I absolutely think he's one of the best in the company right now, if not the best in-ring performer. He just continues to get better and better as each day progresses, and yeah, I definitely see 2012 being a big year for Dolph Ziggler, and we'll just have to see how things go with that. But yeah, it would surprise me if he doesn't get the WWE title. With the rate things are going, with the title changes happening all the time. I mean, if it was like 3 or 4 years ago, I'd say it's unlikely. But in 2012 WWE, I think that there's a very good chance of it happening. Aaron, do you think it's going to be entertaining to the new fans if Mick Foley brings back the hardcore title and Steve Blackman returns for one more match? Do you see it as a successful action or not? Not really. First of all, I doubt that very many of the current WWE fans are going to even know who Steve Blackman is. If he came out on Raw, just any random Raw, I would suspect that less than 5% of the audience would know who he is. I mean, it's just, there are new fans that go to the events, and it's just a new audience that's watching WWE right now. And the hardcore title is from a different era. It is the PG era of WWE, and bringing back the hardcore title, they would have to do hardcore matches, and you're just putting too many guys at a risk of getting hurt. And the whole PG era is not just toning down on the profanity and the violence, but protecting the wrestlers and putting them in safer situations, not having them take a lot of shots to the head and that sort of thing. So it would be a mistake, in my opinion, not just from a business standpoint, but in terms of the safety of the performers. I just think it's a different era. Aaron, do you think that one of the top reasons WWE isn't that good is because almost everything is scripted? I think WWE is abusing the superstars who have talent but can't show it to the fans. Do you see it ending soon, or will they keep scripting? Well, I think it's healthy to have a balance of both. I mean, back in the 80s and before that, the guys, there weren't that many scripts in wrestling. Guys just went out there and did things on the fly. And it worked for that period, but times have changed, and WWE is very much a television product. And when these guys go out there on worldwide television now in front of millions and millions of people, you want to make sure the guy knows what he's saying, and when he goes out there, and want to make sure that he gets the storyline over and remembers what he has to say. And sometimes you have to guide him and not so much script him, but give him bullet points and kind of get him in the right direction of what he needs to say when he goes out there. So, but on the other hand, you don't want to have the guy recite, memorize every single line when he goes out there. You want him to be able to put his own perspective on what he's saying and then put his own spin on it. So, like I said, you really need a good balance of both, in my opinion. And you could make the argument right now that WWE is going too far in the direction of scripting, and I would agree with you on that. I think WWE needs to let the guys come up with some of their own material, but at the same time, you need to give them some kind of guidance, I think. Hi, Aaron. Greetings from Chile. Regarding the likely Triple H Triple H HBK Undertaker feud at WrestleMania 28, how would you like the storyline to play out? I personally think HBK should screw Triple H rather than be his ally in order to beat Taker. Keep up the good work. Love the show. Well, thank you. What I suspect is going to happen is if that ends up being the match with Triple H and Undertaker, Michaels is the referee, I suspect that in the end HBK would do the right thing and count Triple H down and Undertaker would win. I mean, that's just really the only way you can do it. It's not like Shawn Michaels is going to turn on the fans and then do a cowardly act and be a heel, and he's going to call it right down the middle. So in the end, I would see Undertaker winning regardless of what Shawn Michaels does. Which do you think Kevin Nash will be remembered for? His Diesel days or his NWO days in WCW? Well, I think because WWE won the war with WCW and they control the tape libraries and they control wrestling history to some degree, it's possible that down the line, the Diesel character will be remembered more because it's a WWE creation. I think there's only so far that WWE is going to go in terms of putting over, promoting something that they did not create, which was the NWO. Now, of course, realistically, I think Nash should be remembered for the NWO because the NWO was so influential in wrestling history and made such a big impact. Whereas Diesel, it was to a degree a successful character, but when Diesel was the world champion, it's not like WWE business was on fire or anything. So I would say, in my personal opinion, I think he should be remembered for the NWO, but I think with WWE controlling the wrestling media and controlling the historical aspect of it, I think that he'll most likely end up being more remembered as Diesel. Hey Aaron, love the show. What do you think is the best way for Cena to win the fans over again? I think that improving his ring work and giving more exciting, diverse, and unpredictable matches would do more than something like a heel turn. Agree. Do you agree? You know what? I don't think anything John Cena would do would get him over with the people that aren't cheering for him right now. The people that aren't cheering him, they're booing him because of his character, that he's this superhero that never loses, and he represents the PG era of WWE. So I think maybe if Cena had an edgier character, not so much an edgier character, but just a change. He's been this same superhero character for the past 6-7 years now, and people are tired of it. They want something different. It's not so much his in-ring work or doing unpredictable matches, although that, doing unpredictable matches certainly helps, but it's just the whole presentation of his character and just doing something different with him that I think would get him more over with the audience right now that isn't accepting him. Okay, that'll do it for today's edition of NoDQ&A video. Please subscribe. Please spread the word. YouTube.com/NoDQCAW. And I'll see you next week after the whole craziness in Vegas. Hopefully I'm around. We'll see what happens. But whatever stays in Vegas, whatever happens in Vegas, stays in Vegas. Whatever. I'll see you guys next week for more NoDQ&A video. So stay tuned.